Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know who I am, of course am the FPL train, where in today's video we're going to be looking at what possible transfers we could go for ahead of game week 24. Now obviously you got the double game week for both Liverpool and Everton. Now I'm not going to be recommending Everton players today. Now look, if you want to go for them, I'll 100% get it, but the fact is one of their games is against Liverpool. Obviously they do have that home game though against Leicester, which I can understand why people want to go for some Everton players. If I was having any Everton players, I'd probably just have the one max. Even though double game week, I just don't like that second fixture. Now, if you are looking at double game week, so I would 100% recommend going for 3 Liverpool players for this double game week. Now, before we go into the players that I've recommended, let's look at the previous game weeks and let's see how they got on. So first up on here, it is Virgil van Dijk. He only came away with 2 points overall, which was a real stinker because they were absolutely battering Ipswich. It was 4-0, then right at the end they conceded that goal. So he went from having a clean sheet to just 2 points right there. So that was a real sucker punch there. But don't worry though, because if you have got him, you've got him now for that double game week in 24. Next on here was obviously Morgan Rogers. Doesn't get any better. In fact, it's a lot worse. He only scored 1 point in game week 23. An absolute stinker there from him, especially when, I don't know if anybody was watching it, but Aston Villa versus West Ham. That first off, Aston Villa were battering West Ham at the start. And he did score, but it was offside. Ollie Watkins offside, which was really frustrating because that meant he would have got a goal. Didn't happen, and I weren't surprised from the first half, but he did get a yellow card in the end. These guys just got a temper problem. He goes into challenges. It's just frustrating for a guy who owns him myself. It's very, very frustrating. So he only got 1 point, so that was an absolute stinker. And Kai Havertz weren't much better really at all, really, was he? So he only scored 2 points, so from the 3 players, they get 5 points in total. That was an absolute stinker. Probably one of my worst ones to recommend. This is probably why I should have stopped recommending players. But absolute stinker then up from all 3 in the end. Kai Havertz only got 2 points. He played 90 minutes against Wolves. Yes, they had a man sent off. Eventually, so did Wolves. But the fact that they scraped to win against Wolves was a surprise. I had this down to be a 3-0, 4-0 possibly. It was 1-0. They scraped the win, only just. He didn't get the goal. He did play 90 minutes. But the fact is, he blanked against a Wolves team which had been leaking in goals. So that was definitely a surprise. I did think he was going to score. So the fact that he blanked was surprising. But yeah, those are the 3 players I recommended last week, which was absolutely terrible. So let's hope next week's is much, much better. Now then, let's talk about the first transfer then I've got on here for game week 24. And it might be a big surprise because I have gone for Reece James of Chelsea. This is a player who, I mean, before his injuries, I absolutely love Reece James. I genuinely think if he was never, had these injuries, he would be considered to be a better right back than Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, I remember a few seasons ago, they were both non-stop getting assists, getting goals. It was crazy. It was amazing. But unfortunately, he has had so many injuries. So this one, of course, is a massive gamble. Yeah. The reason why I've gone for him is just, I mean, like I said, absolutely love the player. I think he's quality. He played 34 minutes on his return for Chelsea against Bournemouth. Then in game week 22, he did play 76 minutes. Well, he actually did get an assist as well. So he got a goal and assist. So sorry, he did get a goal as well against Bournemouth. So he's had a goal and assist then. Then he did play 72 minutes then against Man City. So he started the last 2 games now for Chelsea, which is obviously making me want to look at him. He's 4.8 million. So if this guy can stay fit, which is obviously huge for Reece James, if he could stay fit, get to returns he used to get a few seasons ago, he's only 4.8 million. He's an absolute bargain if he can stay fit. Less than 1% owned, so nobody's looking at him. Chelsea's fixtures, they're not the worst. West Ham, doable there. Brighton, it's doable. Aston Villa is a bit trickier, but then you've got Southampton and Leicester both at Stamford Bridge. Good set of fixtures coming up. I'm not quite sure if Reece James is in Europa Conference's squad. I don't think he is currently, but if they go through, I hope they didn't put him in there because he doesn't need to be playing Thursday, Sunday. That could affect him. But if he is just playing 1 game a week, I think in the Premier League mostly, he will be absolutely outstanding. Fingers crossed he just stay fit because I have seriously got my eye on him, bringing him, because I've got myself Levi Colwill and I would love to just do a quick swap. There's literally 0.3 in it. So yeah, Reece James, if he stays fit, man, if he stays fit, he would be absolutely amazing. So 4.8 million as well would be a bargain. Obviously, it's a big if, but sometimes you got to take gambles in life, and this is one I do think would be worth it. Obviously, no my luck now. We play against West Ham, get injured. And Boo Boo next. Now, this is completely different to Reece James. This guy's fit majority of the time. He's been outstanding this season. 14 goals, only 3 assists, which did surprise me. But he has been absolutely outstanding this season. He's now going up against a Spurs side in Game Week 24 that just leaking goals for fun, who decide not to defend, who only have their players in the opponent's half from the looks of it. So, and then Boo Boo's pace is going to absolutely destroy them. There's going to be a few hamstrings pulled from the Spurs defence playing against Mbeumo and Wizard this coming game week. You can either go for Mbeumo or Wizard. On here, I've gone for Mbeumo midfielder. He's still just 7.8 million at the end of the day, so he's still a bargain. If you've got something like a Gordon, you want to do a quick swap there, 100% get that. Go for that one because I think Mbeumo is going to tear it up. Well, he's been tearing it up all season, let's be honest. Even though he's had a few tricky game weeks recently, he still managed to get 7 points just obviously against Crystal Palace. He did blank though against both Liverpool and Man City, which is understandable. But he did get a goal against the likes of Arsenal. Between all that, he got his 19-point haul in Southampton, which is obviously amazing. So when you look at that, you're thinking, going forward, West Ham league goals, Leicester league goals, Everton league goals. Good, and obviously Spurs do. And even Aston Villa don't keep clean sheets. So he's got a great run of fixtures. Really, looking at it, realistically, you could keep him to the end of the season because he's just been that good. He does have a tricky, stage from game week 28, right up to 33, well, 34, I should say. You could argue 35 United, but will that affect Mbeumo's returns? I'm not so sure because he's been outstanding this season. Definitely one of my player of the year players. He won't get it because he plays for Brentford, but he's been quality this season. Bargain to play on penalties for Brentford just makes sense, and those next 4 fixtures particularly are beautiful. And so finally, that brings on to Cody Gakpo of Liverpool. Obviously, I mentioned at the start of the video, Liverpool have a double game week, and I couldn't just say just get all these Liverpool players now, so I've decided to just do one Liverpool play for this upcoming double game week. Obviously, they've got the likes of Bournemouth and Everton, both away from home. Bournemouth, unbelievable this season, so that is going to be a bit trickier. But Everton, Derby, you could say that's a tricky game as well. But I'd have faith that a Liverpool team has only lost 1 game this season. They might draw, one of these 2 games, but, I think it'd be worth going for Cody Gakpo. And the guy has actually started every game since game week 12, which is, quite surprising really when you look at it. I don't know why in my head I just keep telling myself, no, that's false. But obviously he does go off early in some games. So for example, against Ipswich he only played 67 minutes, but he did score 2 goals in that game. But yeah, like I said, he's now started every game week since that Southampton game in game week 12. Unbelievable striker, definitely still going under the radar. Maybe it's because he keeps getting subbed off early, I'm not so sure. But he's only 7.6 million, so he's a bargain. He has gone up in price recently, so people are looking at him now. That's why he's 17.5% owned now. But, after the double game week, got Wolves, they leaking goals. Man City's defence, not entirely confident of that one either, so I'd say do well there. Newcastle haven't kept a clean sheet in the last 4 game weeks, so again, could score there. And then Southampton, so guaranteed goals in that game, isn't it? So yeah, you've got to have 3 Liverpool players for this upcoming game week. Obviously, everyone's going to have Mo Salah for game week 24. The other 2 players are up for debate. I would say definitely have at least 1 defender. I myself have Virgil van Dijk if you want to go for Van Dijk, or Trent Alexander-Arnold. They're my 2 favourites. And then I go for even an attacker of Gakpo, Diaz, or even McAllister. I think it's worth a shout, if I'm being honest. But yeah, that is the 3rd player I definitely going to recommend. I think Cody Gakpo, he's going under the radar, kind of. 8 goals this season, so he's doing well in 14 starts. So we'll see how this game week goes. But it's a big game week if you do go for Cody Gakpo. He could get, obviously, benched for one of the games because you got to remember, yes, they do have a double game week, Liverpool, but in that double game week, they still have a Champions League game in the middle of all this. So that could be actually more ideal. They could start Núñez in the Champions League game just because they've already qualified, and then Gakpo could play these 2 games in the Premier League. But anyway, those are the 3 players I'm going to recommend in Reece James, Mbeumo and Cody Gakpo. Let me know what you think of those 3 players. And let me know what transfers you're actually thinking about doing. Is there somebody else who I've not considered that you think we should look at for Game Week 24 onwards? And also, before we go, don't forget to click the like button, smash subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one.